It's what we're doing at the Angry Black Man Podcast. Right? We're leaving no stone unturned. We have Mr. Jay Morrison has reemerged, okay, and has came back to in the headlines lately. Now, there's been some talk about a $1 million check. A $1 million check that he received from Young Jeezy, okay? Now, I do recall this, and it was a while back. Now news has emerged that this was actually a PR stunt. Jay Morrison is a young black man that came out a few years ago, and he came out with something called the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. And this was a fund that you could invest in, and it offered certain amount of guaranteed returns, okay? And it was targeting the black community. Okay, something similar of a stock. I got all the receipts. It kind of gave me the same sentiment as Dr.Umar Johnson, because I started asking the question. I said, damn, what's been going on with the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, right, as of lately? Is it still a thing? Did it pan out? Or was it just another hustle? I started doing a little digging. He had just been investigated by the SEC. Now, they put him under investigation. They put the heat on him. It got hot for him, but then they said they're not going to recommend any further action, right? But they forced him to come out and put out a statement that said, we acknowledge that we have been under investigation, right? And we know that since this investigation has been closed, it doesn't mean that we're exonerated. We take it very seriously, and we're going to follow all the suggestions and stuff that have been made, right? So he's telling y'all that they wasn't absolutely clean. I first heard about it when I first saw it. It was on actually Vlad TV, right? And when I saw it then, I said, this nigga trying to hit us with the Uti-Wap, but you don't want to drag down a black man. You don't want to tear no black man down. I felt like he was trying to hit us with the Uti-Wap then, and I'm going to break down why. Here is Jay Morrison on Vlad TV talking about the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Let's go.
I've been focused on creating a real estate investment fund, a crowd fund that's transparent and that's regulated, and a way for the urban community to pull its dollars together to buy back our blocks, to build Black Wall Street, to stop gentrification of our neighborhoods, and to passively invest in real estate. I've been working with the SEC for the last 2 years to get qualified. We were qualified on February 2nd and approved to have this Regulation A Tier 2 crowd fund called the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. Anyone can invest and be a shareholder, an equity partner in our fund for as minimum as 10 shares or a $500 investment, and each of our investors get an 8% preferred return, meaning before we make any profits as a company, you get your 8% pref, right? Your 8% preferred return annually, and they get 50% of the profits that we make within our fund.
I'm letting him break down what the fund is in his own words, because I don't want to put no words in his mouth, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and move to the second slide, because it gets, as I like to say, it gets more sinister.
Okay, so when you say it's coming out for sale, which exchange is it coming out on?
No exchange right now. We have the opportunity to do that in the future if we like. No exchange right now. We have the opportunity to do that in the future if we like. No exchange right now. We have the opportunity to do that in the future if we like, but this is rolling out strictly to the public as a private company, but it still is a public offering. And you have to go to our website, Tulsa, Tulsa, TulsaRealEstateFund.com, in order to register.
That was the first red flag when DJ Vlad asked him straight up, is it on the exchange? Can I go to the big dogs? Can I trade this on the stock market? You're offering, it sounds like you're offering a stock. Can I treat this like any other stock and go to the NASDAQ and purchase it? He said, no. He said, you have to go to my website. You have to register with me. But yet you speaking about this as if it was a stock. Nah. You can't go to them. You don't go to them people where, you know, they got all the regulation and shit, and you know, you gotta go through all these procedures to make sure that your money is protected and make sure nobody over here hitting you with the oop-de-wop. Don't go over there and don't go through all that regulation. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just come over, come straight to me. Come straight to me. That was red flag. That was the first red flag. Let's continue. As I like to say, it gets more sinister. Let's go.
Our first tranche of our raise is 10 million. Our second is 15, and the last 25 we'll do in our third phase.
Okay, so you don't own any shares yourself?
No, I'll own as a or as a company. So that's one thing.
Okay, so you don't own any shares yourself.
No, I'll own as a or as a company. So that's one thing. No, I'll own as a or as a company. So that's one thing. Individuals or companies can own shares. You don't have to be a person to do it. And so on June 1st, I'll be investing at minimum $10,000 into the fund for 200 shares. And I'll challenge anyone to match me at that 10 stack.
Oh, shit. There goes another red flag, y'all. Nah. I ain't invest my money. I ain't put my money into it. You see how he start stuttering? The nigga start tap dancing, nigga start stuttering. You can't even get a deal on Shark Tank, right? Tell me if I'm lying. They won't even give you a deal on Shark Tank unless you can prove to them that you have some skin in the game. He didn't have no skin in the game for this Tulsa real estate fund, right? No skin in the game. The conversation goes no further once you inform me that you have no skin in the game. Because you see that right there? The film don't lie. That's a so-called $1 million check. That's Young Jeezy holding a check. Young Jeezy donated supposedly $1 million. But here's the interesting part. That $1 million was not going to the Tulsa real estate. That $1 million didn't go to that. That money went to the J. Morrison Academy. Now we're talking about education, Dr. Umar. Now we're talking about black boys and black girls in education, Dr. Umar. Right? That's $1 million on that. And then it's documented that you raised almost $10 million for the Tulsa real estate fund. So we're looking at almost $11 million. Keep that in mind because I haven't even gotten through the receipts. You're tuned in to the Angry Black Man Podcast. Let's make sure you hit like right now. Hit that like button. Make sure you share. Let's get our numbers up. They climbing, let's get up some more. And make sure you subscribe. If it's your first time here, make sure you hit subscribe. If you would like to support the show, feel free to Cash App $Breadman281. That's $Breadman281. So let's continue. Let's keep going. Let's continue. Let's get to the next one.
Are you familiar with Black Wall Street?
I am.
The community in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yeah, I mean, it got burned down at the end, right?
Yeah, so June 1st of 1921, it was bombed and massacred. That's why we're launching on June 1st of 2018 to revitalize it and to use this vehicle as a way to actually realize that as Africans in America, as black people, to see what it's like when we have our own little Italy and our own Greek towns and our own, little Mexico's little Koreatown. So we literally are going to utilize this fund. That's why it's called Tulsa. I didn't name it after me, as most of my companies are. I named it after Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street community, because it's symbolic of what we can do together when we pull our dollars together.
I'm about to dig my teeth in a little bit because now things are becoming, they became more sinister as I did more of my research, as I did more film breakdown. My coach used to always tell me, right? The film don't lie. The film don't lie. You can go out there saying, "Oh, coach, I knocked that nigga out. Did you see me, big coach? I laid him out, big coach." That's what niggas used to do. We call them perpetrators. Big coach, you see, I was doing this, I was doing that, coach. They say that shit after the game, and you know what coach say? He say, the film don't lie. We're gonna see tomorrow when we watch that film. So now you gotta ask yourself, why would Jay Morrison be asking for money using the name Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Black Wall Street? And I'm telling you, it's to play off of your heartstrings, to play off of your emotions. It has nothing to do specifically with Tulsa and Black Wall Street. He tried to hit you with the Utu. He said, we're gonna revitalize it. But then he came back at the end and said, it's symbolic. It's a symbolic gesture. This fund had nothing and has nothing to do with specifically rebuilding Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the Black Wall Street. He's clout chasing. I have to call you out. Because there's many programs right now that are giving away money in Tulsa, Oklahoma, on Black Wall Street. They're giving black businesses money. They're giving black families money to come and live and attempt to thrive in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to revitalize Black Wall Street, the shit you trying to sell us. But here you are, not even doing any specific work. You don't have any specific initiative in Tulsa, Oklahoma for Black Wall Street, but yet you're taking money on the behalf of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma? Let's go to the film. Let's go to the film breakdown, big coach.
When you buy a share of Tulsa, if you buy 10 shares of Tulsa and you want to sell 5 of them, or you want to sell all of them, how quickly can you do that?
It's going to be a process. If you want to try to sell Tulsa shares, you can do it amongst your network to family or friends or to others. That's probably the easiest way to do it. It's going to be a process. If you want to try to sell Tulsa shares, you can do it amongst your network to family or friends or to others. That's probably the easiest.
Nah. You're telling me and you're selling me on the fact that it's a stock or it functions like a stock. That I can take my money and I can invest in this just like the stock market. But yet, when it's time for me to cash out, it's a problem. When it's time for me to cash out, you telling me I need to go sell to my family or my friends. What does that sound like, y'all? When it's time for me to cash out, you telling me now I got to go pawn it off on somebody else that I know. It doesn't work like a regular stock where I can just dial up or go on my fucking phone, go to Robinhood, go to E-Trade, and sell my shit. So what the fuck are we doing then? Tell me, what the fuck are we doing then? So I give you the money. You go do whatever you want to do with it. You go work it, right? It's cool. I know how that works. But when it's time for me to cash out, now I got to wait. I don't want to hear you talking about, oh, it's a long term. That's none of your business. How my exit strategy, my entrance or my exit. You said it costs $500 to enter, nigga. I put $500 down. I worked it. Now it's time for me to cash out, but I can't. It's that's a pyramid scheme. That's okay. Allegedly, it's an alleged pyramid scheme. It's definitely a red flag. But here is the sickest part. Listen to what Jay Morrison thinks about the black community and your hard-earned money. Let's go.
Hey, I need 10,000 back real quick. And we just, parked it in an asset. There's going to be a process for, liquidity and getting that money back, and there's certain regulations we have to follow. So, we do encourage people to look at this as a long-term investment, not a get-rich-quick. This is not a flip. This is, I had money sitting in the shoebox for a minute. I had money sitting in a savings account for a minute, or I got some extra funds. I have no retirement account. I have no long-term legacy plan set up for my family. Let me park some dollars in Tulsa and let it see what it do. This is, I had money sitting in the shoebox for a minute. I had money sitting in a savings account for a minute, or I got some extra funds. I have no retirement account. I have no long-term legacy plan set up for my family. Let me park some dollars in Tulsa and let it see what it do. It's that type of investment.
If that went over your head, then let me tell you something. You deserve to call up this man right now. I'll give you his information, and you deserve to give him some of your money. If what he just said went over your head, my nigga. I don't have no retirement. I don't have no retirement fund, right? This money, this shoebox money I've been saving, I don't have. Let me just give him this money and be ready to lose it. I know I heard this nigga say, give me money that you prepared to lose. Then he said, it don't even matter. He's acknowledging these are people that don't have retirement plans. What type of fucking sense do that make to y'all? You tuned in to the Angry Black Man Podcast. Make sure you hit like, make sure you hit share, and make sure you hit subscribe. Is it a scam? Is it a pyramid scheme? That's what I need to know. It sound like one to me. It sound like one to me. And matter of fact,